Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel, and today is going to be my summer haul, which surprisingly the stack isn't as tall as I thought it was going to be by the end of the summer. And it's September, like the middle of September, which means with this haul I'm officially and regrettably saying goodbye to summer. So let's get into it before I start crying, because that means I have to drive in the snow. The first book on this, in this pile, is a birthday present that I got. I have another book in here that is a birthday present, but she's on the bottom, so we're going to come back to her. And that is Irish Fairy and Folk Tales. I don't know who the author is or who put the stories together, but my mom got this for me for a birthday present because she knows how much I love me some good mythology and Ireland. So it's a really nice thing. I have two Ireland myth books. One's focused primarily on fairies, and one's on the actual facts mythology with McCool and everything. And I don't have any books that just kind of talk about that say the stories per se. They seem more factual. So I'm excited to read this when I get the chance to. I don't know when that chance will be. Probably in the spring, because it involves fairies, and I always think of spring when I think of fairies. Unless it's a Midsummer Night's Dream, then it's a perfect spooky read. It's not really even that spooky, but it's fine. The next book in my haul is The Gospel of Loki by Joanne M. Harris. I don't know a lot about this book. All I know is that it's essentially... Okay, here we go. So it's essentially Loki planning the downfall of Asgard. I have heard really good things about this book. I believe it's the first book in the duology, or a trilogy, because I know the next one is The Testament of Loki, which is what pulled me into it. I saw it on Instagram. But I'm really intrigued by the cover. I bought this on Book Outlet, or Book Depository. Yeah, Book Depository, because I wanted this cover specifically, because it's just so shiny. I can't say no to shiny. And if you hear crunching, it's because my sister's in the room and she's eating Doritos. So I'm really sorry about that. She's not though, but I am. The next book on this list I have already read, so I'll be leaving the link to that review down below, and that is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Why does it feel like I'm holding it in the wrong side? The next book that I picked up, I have a review of, and that will be linked down below, and that is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is essentially a weird, not retelling per se, but a reimagining of The Jungle Book, where instead of our child being raised by jungle animals, he's raised by ghosts. So here we follow nobody, or Bod Owens, as he's raised by ghosts, and he kind of has to figure out who killed his parents, and also realize that the person who successfully killed his family is now after him. I enjoyed this book a lot, actually. I didn't think I was going to because of the format of how it's written, but I will leave my Goodreads review down below, and then my wrap-up if you want, whichever one you want to choose. The next book that I bought is written by a Filipino author, and if it's following my quest of books written by Filipino authors, to find them and to read them, and that is Estrada by Miguel Siuco. I even asked my mother. Siuhuco. There we go. Yes, I'm a terrible Filipino, but to be fair, I've never seen this last name before, so. Essentially, this is a mystery thriller, I believe, where the body of this well-known author has been found floating in the Hudson, and his mentor goes back to the Philippines to figure out what exactly happened, because he feels like it's not a suicide like everyone says it is. So I'm excited to get into it. It's considered Filipino, really good Filipino literature. I think, yeah, I won the Man Asian Literary Prize Award in 2008. So I'm excited to read this and to read more literature with Filipino authors, because I can't find them a ton here in the States and I have to dig for them. So if y'all have any suggestions, leave them in the comments, because I'm a really depressing Filipino to have never read a lot of works by my own people. The next book I bought, I'm pretty sure I bought in August, but I could be wrong. I didn't write it down, but I'm going to say I bought in August, and that is Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. This is, Devil in the White City. I read this back in high school, I believe, and I didn't really enjoy it, but I do love me a good thriller. This essentially is following the 1893 Chicago World Fair back to life with a serial killer on the loose. I'm excited to read it again, and I think now that I'm older and more mature and not in a rush to read it because of school, I will have a better time enjoying this book, because I know my friend read it and she definitely enjoyed it, so and I think Leo's playing it in a movie maybe, but we have issues with Leo right now, so we're just gonna leave it, but we will still watch it if it has Leo because it's a good book. The next book I bought was Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and this is the 4th book in the Percy Jackson series, and he's finally a high schooler. I have plans to read this month. Hopefully I do get to them, but if not, you guys will be the first to know. I don't know a ton about this because I believe I stopped reading after I stopped keeping on track with the Percy Jackson series after the 3rd book. I am at a loss since this is the 4th one, but I know he's just a freshman in high school, and he didn't expect things to happen at his freshman orientation, but they did, and now he's struggling because of it, which I feel like is very on brand for Percy, and we shouldn't expect anything less. The next book I've bought I've already read, and I do have a full review on that, so I will leave that video linked down below, and that is Of Ice and Shadows by Audrey Coulthurst. This is the sequel to Of Fire and Stars, and in some cases Ink Mistress as well by her. It essentially picks up right after we were left off of the events of the first one, where Denna has been betrothed to the king of Mineria for the prince of Mineria for a long time. And when she goes to marry the dude, she falls in love with his sister. And there's assassination attempts and a magic system, and I will leave all of my thoughts on that down below because I have my review on that, so there's really no point in me explaining what I thought about this book in this video. The next book I bought was a very obvious impulse buy because I was looking for a different book, but I got lost in the cover and forgot to really check with myself, and that is The Odyssey by Homer. This one is translated by Robert Fagles. I have a different version of this book, which is translated by Emily Wilson. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, and I was looking for the Iliad to complete that, like, those 2 books, but somehow I saw this cover. I even said the words The Odyssey and not the Iliad, and I still stupidly bought it. So I'm not complaining though. It's a gorgeous cover, and I would like to have multiple copies and translations of it because you never know, it'll differ from place to place. But I really want the Iliad because I already have the Odyssey, but I'm just stupid and there are no pretty covers of the Iliad. So if anyone wants to point me in the direction of a pretty cover for the Iliad, let me know because this is my second one of the Odyssey. The next book I bought is a YA contemporary novel, and that is You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman. This follows Ariel Stone. He's a senior in high school right now, and he's kind of juggling a lot, and he feels like he needs to, until one day he starts to fails a calculus test, and he enlists the help of a friend, Amir, as a tutor. This is LGBT romance, and I just feel like I'm going to cry, because it just sounds emotional, and there seems to be a lot of like school-related things, and I still cry over school-related stress sometimes, all the time. But I'm excited to read this when I can. It seems like a really emotional book, and I haven't heard much about it, but I did hear about it when it came out. I just haven't heard about it post facto, yeah. So I will let you guys know when I read this, probably in like November or something, because October's like TBR is basically already set, because I am a spooky bitch. Not really, but I like reading thrillers and classics during this time. The next book that I bought is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erika L. Sanchez. I don't know a ton about this book. This book came out and I had heard a lot about it, but then I had never heard of any follow-up. So I found this on Target, and I just kind of picked it up because it's a National Book Award finalist. It seems like a really interesting premise where, here, I'll just read the first paragraph. It says, perfect Mexican daughters do not go away to college. They do not move out of their parents' house after high school graduation. Perfect Mexican daughters never abandon their family. But Julia is not your perfect Mexican daughter. So I'm excited to read this. It sounds really tragic, and just reading the synopsis, it sounds like there's also some mentions of grief in here. So I want to see where this goes and see what happens, but I will let you guys know when I get the chance to read this, because I bought this in June, I bought this in June, and I haven't had a chance to read through it just yet. The next book I bought is another one of those books that had a lot of hype before it came out, and then when it did come out, I hadn't heard a ton about it, and that is Meet Cute. This is an anthology of essentially meet cute love romances, including stories by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Danielle Clayton, Katie Contugno, Jocelyn Davies, Huntley Fitzpatrick, Nina LaCour, Emily Lord, Catherine McGee, Cass Morgan, Julie Murphy, Meredith Russo, Sarah Shepard, Nicola Yoon, and Evie Zaboy. I'm excited for this because I like me a good anthology. I don't read a lot of YA anthologies, especially not one that's meet cute. As you can tell, there's a lot of diversity on the cover, and I know like a good chunk of the authors in that that have contributed to this anthology. I haven't read all of them, but I know they're really good authors. So I am expecting a lot, but going in with low expectations, if that makes sense in any way, shape, or form. The next book, this is the second birthday book and the last birthday book that I received. Thank you, Sam, yet again. And that is The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is a YA high fantasy novel where essentially you find out that the magic system and the royalty system is based all around blood. So if you have red blood, you're kind of a boring person. But if you have silver blood, I believe is the color, yeah. Silver, you are considered royalty. And Mare is the first one who has red blood but has magical abilities. So she is kind of thrown into this political sphere where she doesn't really know how to interact with anyone. And there's a love triangle by the judge of things, so I'm excited. My friend Sam always talks about this book, and she surprised me with this for my birthday, so I kind of have to read it soon. I think it'll be one of my like fantasy novels for October. I think it'll be one of my fantasy books for October, just so that way I can fangirl about it with Sam, but I will let you guys know when that comes up. The next book that I bought was A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare, and it is illustrated by Arthur Rackham. This is, I feel like you guys have heard about this like all the time. I'm pretty sure you had to read it for school. Nico! You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys know what this one is about. There are a lot of fairies involved, there's some romance going on, some nice, lovely, stupid people getting mixed up in things they shouldn't have. Someone gets turned into a donkey, but only the head. I read this back in middle school, and I'm excited to pick this back up again and see kind of what I like about it, what I didn't like about it. But yeah, so I will let you guys know when I read this. I'll probably read it for October because like it's a short play. It's a nice break from all the long books I have chosen, and like you can't go wrong with Puck. Puck is just a dummy, and you gotta love him. So the next book that I bought is one that I've been meaning to get because I watched the TV show. And I am excited to see what like it means to write a book in second person almost, and that is You by Carolyn Kepnes. I watched the TV show. It was really great. Essentially what this is about this man named Joe who has an obsession or grows an obsession with this girl who walks into a bookstore, and he kind of like makes lots of contraptions and like not contraptions, but he manipulates the situations to make her fall in love with him. Like I said, I love the TV show. I can't wait for the second season, but I want to see this where it differs with the book, as well as whether or not I should pick up the sequel, because I heard the sequel wasn't that great. But I'll let you guys know when I pick it up for October, because like I said, my TBR for October has been set since like September 1st. Which isn't a surprise, but it is what it is. The next book that I bought is actually one that, again, I've been meaning to buy because, like, I know that Emma from Emma Books raves about this series, and I love the author because I read her first kind of quartet, and that is Renegade by Marissa Meyer. I know about as much about the book as I can, and that all I know is that it takes place in a futuristic setting. It's YA, and we follow the children of superheroes and supervillains, and we kind of get to see those children go head to head, and it blurs the lines between like morally gray characters, I believe, or something like that. And I know the main character is half Filipina, so I'm just excited to pick it up and see what's going on because everyone says it's really good, and like I'm here for superheroes, especially POC superheroes, so I'll let you guys know when I pick this up. It'll probably be within the next couple months, definitely not for October, but yeah. And the last book that I have bought during summer is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. I saw this at Barnes & Noble, and it's like the hardcover, and it was like $7 because it was like the overstock sale, so I couldn't really say no to it. I don't know a ton about this book, not gonna lie. I know my friend wants to read it. Okay, so a single mother turns up dead at the bottom of the river. Later this summer, a vulnerable teenager girl meets the same fate, but they're not the first person. So there are a lot of people drowning and they're trying to figure out who, and someone I'm sure is going to pop up and say like, oh yeah, I'm going to figure it out. But I read Girl on the Train and I was really intrigued by that. I think that the plot twist for that one kind of threw me for a bit of a loop, even though I like low-key knew it was going to happen. But I want to see where this book goes, and I will let you guys know whether or not I read this for October. Because I haven't decided my list of thrillers yet. I just know kind of the theme that I'm going for October. But that is it for my summer haul. I thought I was going to have a bigger stack than this, which I'm very thankful for that I didn't, because the bank and my bookshelves are already kind of overflowing. So yeah. But until next time, please leave me in the comments down below if you have read any of these books, if you think I should prioritize some of the thrillers or classics coming forth for October, because I tend to read more classics in October for some reason. But until next time, all my social media links and the reviews for the books that I have read, like all 2 of them, will be left down below. And I'll talk to you guys everywhere else. And I hope you guys are having a great week. Bye!